Hey there. I was just thinking I had been intending to record something for a few days, but it's just been a very busy start to the week. It was my first few days back at work after 10 days of isolation with COVID. So, yeah, I was fully expecting it would be a bit of a full on reintroduction to normal life again, which indeed it was. And obviously, as I've alluded to before, work at the hospital is fairly intense at the moment. It's just a constant firefighting exercise, trying to keep services running and keeping rota staffed. And yeah, it's kind of, rather than thriving and developing, we seem to be doing an awful lot of firefighting and surviving at the moment. So, hopefully, it's not going to go on forever. These things tend to be cyclical, and just trying to concentrate on what I actually can control. Um, and a lot of that stuff, I think I've talked about this before on here, is that I kind of accept that my job is by its nature unpredictable and quite chaotic sometimes. So I have to just maximize the amount of control I have over what I do before and after and around work. So it got me thinking. I've been meaning to talk a little bit about social media and what I've done around it. Sorry about the throat clearing. Even I'm well clear of isolation now, but I've still got some lingering respiratory tract symptoms. Thank you, COVID. Uh, so yeah, social media. So like many of you have probably been on social media for quite a long time. I remember when Facebook first came out. Back to before it was even easily accessible on phones. And although I keep mentioning Facebook as the main one, obviously there's quite a few different platforms, and people will have their favorite ones that they spend most time on. But certainly, I've got accounts for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And then I guess you count things like YouTube as well, I guess. But I tend to see YouTube as quite a positive force in my life at the moment for kind of personal development stuff, and also for leisure things as well. I've taken to watching quite a lot of parkour videos with the boys. Like, they absolutely love watching the Storer guys. Shout out to them with my 8 subscribers and their 8 million subscribers. But yeah, we love watching those videos. So there's a lot of positivity about social media. I like the fact that Facebook allows me to keep in touch with people that I haven't seen for years. Perhaps people I went to school with and I haven't seen since then. But you can kind of still keep in touch with people that you don't see on a regular basis, which I think is pretty great. But it's undeniable to me that social media such as Facebook and Twitter really does drive a lot of problems with sort of comparative type behaviors, and just inadequacy, I suppose, and pressure to be posting certain things about your life. Like, it amazes me how much some people are willing to share on their social media platforms, but each to their own. And certainly over the years, I've evolved into not really posting much at all on social media, and I kind of stick to posting my personal development content, which I'm really interested in at the minute. And I get a bit of feedback from time to time to say that some people are enjoying it. So I guess as long as one person is enjoying it, then that makes me pretty happy. So yeah, what did I decide to do? So I was listening to a podcast fairly recently, and they were talking about the concept of digital minimalism, and actually they were talking about quite an extreme form of detox where you pretty much cut yourself off from all social media for 30 days. Which I thought was pretty extreme because there's some elements of it that I do enjoy and I don't feel overtake my life too much. But I thought there was probably something I could do there to detach myself a little bit from the worst culprits in terms of the ones that I feel maybe have a bit of a negative impact on me. And I'd highlighted those mainly as Facebook and Twitter. Those are the platforms sometimes where you can get sucked into doom scrolling endlessly, and also the ones where you can kind of come off it feeling a bit jaded in some ways. And I'm looking at Twitter when I say that because I a lot of the accounts I follow are quite medical in nature, and it's just so tribal. Um, And I mean, actual real life medicine's a bit like that as well, where people have a tendency to sit in their silos and they really struggle to see things from other specialties' points of view. And I guess that's just a human thing, but there's just constant backbiting and fighting, and everyone just completely incapable of seeing things from other people's point of view. So I was finding myself increasingly coming off of Twitter, just feeling really frustrated and angry and just in the wrong mindset completely. So I thought, yeah, I need to do something here. So I had a coaching session on it with one of my peer coaches last week to thrash out what I thought was the best way forward. And it was really, what effect do I think social media has on my mindset, and how much of my time does it take up? And actually, if I was able to separate myself from it a bit, what would I be doing differently? And so ultimately, what I ended up doing after thrashing it out a bit, really decided that I could live without having Facebook and Twitter on my phone. Not that I was going to get rid of my accounts, because there are some positive aspects to being able to access those, and I still want to be able to post my personal development content. But I really have no need to have Facebook and Twitter on my phone, so I got rid of those off my phone. So Twitter was easy enough. I could just uninstall the app from the phone. Facebook was slightly more tricky. My Android phone wouldn't let me delete it. As I discovered, that's because Facebook made a deal with the company that make the phones. So it's like a system app. But what you can do is disable the app on the phone. So that means that the app is no longer available on my phone. But I check in with Facebook and Twitter maybe definitely once a day, usually in the morning time, sometimes once in the evening, but I only do it on my laptop now. And what I do with that time instead, so instead of absent-mindedly scrolling on social media, I have rekindled, haha, my love of reading by actually using a Kindle reader. So I had a very, very old one, which I've now upgraded to a newer one. And I actually just spend a bit of time reading as well. So reading for enjoyment. I've been putting, maybe this is a subject for a post for a different day, but was feeling a bit of pressure to always be reading something that will develop me. But actually, what I've been doing a lot of the time, I've been really getting into to just reading for fun, which has been good, and doing a little bit of personal development reading as well, but mostly reading for fun. So absent-mindedly reading on the Kindle rather than absent-mindedly scrolling on Facebook and Twitter. And to be honest, I feel a bit more, other than the sort of chaos and carnage that happens at work on a frequent basis, I actually feel from a mindset point of view a lot more even. And reading on the Kindle doesn't have the effect on me that reading on social media would do, particularly Twitter. So yeah, I guess my key message then is have a bit of a think. What effect does social media have on you and on your mindset? How much of your time is it taking up? If you don't know how much time it's taking up, it can be measured. You can see how long you're using certain apps for on your phone, and you can install other apps that will track your usage. So give that a try. You might get a bit of a surprise with how much of your time on a daily basis you're using up with social media. So yeah, be honest with yourself about the effect that social media is having on your mindset. Consider measuring how often you're using it for, and just think, what else can you use that time for? What other things are you putting off or saying that you don't have time for? Okay. Let me know if you like this. Let me know if there's anything else that you want me to talk about. Let me know how much social media you're using and what you're going to use that time for. Catch you next time.